I think Gervonta Davis is probably the greatest fighter around now, but he's got a tough fight coming up. You know, he's the top dog. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, all these prescriptions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank don't really care, you know? So when I brought this up, he said, Dad.
Mike Tyson has stepped into the conversation, offering Gervonta Tank Davis advice on how to beat Jake Paul Tyson, who fought Paul in a hyped exhibition, finally broke his silence, and what he said shocked many. Tyson admitted he barely remembers the fight at all. I kind of blanked out, Tyson said. I remember coming back from the first round. Then the next thing I knew, Jake was bowing. That's all I remember. But what stuck with him was how sore he felt afterwards. My body, my chest, my stomach, everything was sore. Tyson warned Tank to respect Jake's power, but also noted Paul's punches are much slower than what Tank is used to. If Davis can defend in close distance, the fight could be his to win.
You mean to tell me you start hitting Jake with some shit, he ain't gonna fight back? He said, fat. So I said, you gotta take him serious. You know what I'm saying? Because he talked about, he had you on a hit list before this fight even happened. So his mental is on you. So you have.
Still, the matchup looks lopsided on paper. Jake Paul walks around close to 200 pounds, tall and athletic. Tank Davis is built strong, but at a much smaller 135 pounds, giving up 8 inches in height and around 60 pounds in weight. Many fans are calling it a circus fight, a money grab, not a real contest. But that hasn't stopped the hype from spreading.
Paul, Tank Davis fight got moved to Miami.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but Jake Paul boxing now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment.
Legendary trainer Teddy Atlas was among the loudest voices after the fight was announced. On his YouTube channel, he couldn't ignore what he saw. The size difference was stark, jaw-dropping. Davis is lethal in his division, but standing next to Jake, it almost looks like 2 different sports.
Looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face off this Tank done. He gets their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant to be an insult. It is meant to take away from a potentially...
Atlas even joked Tank might need a ladder just to reach Jake's chin. Still, he didn't dismiss Davis entirely. He reminded fans that boxing has a history of smaller fighters shocking giants. If Tank lands clean on Jake's chin, with the way he punches, Jake could be dancing, Atlas said.
This face-off, Henry, what are your thoughts here?
You're hearing that shit from me. That's cringe. In some weird way, I kind of like
cringe about it.
He's trying to big man the smaller guy, who the smaller guy to me is dangerous. I think Tank Davis is going to put the hands on him, but I like it, bro. I will say something about Jake Paul. He's brought a lot of attention to boxing. Tank Davis guaranteed $40 million.
If you were in that position, would you fight Jake Paul?
Oh, hell yeah. You got to get...
Meanwhile, Danny Garcia took a more practical view. Speaking to TMZ Sports, Garcia said fans were missing the point. This is business. If I was in Tank's shoes, I'd be happy. He's making a huge payday, fighting in front of millions. And that's what boxing is about. Making money and showing your skills.
It's entertainment. It's entertainment. Both guys are getting paid, and at the end of the day, anybody can say what they want to say, but at the end of the day, this game is about getting checks. And that's what they're doing. You know, it's entertainment. I'm pretty sure after this fight, Gervonta is going to go back to fighting fighters, and then Jake Paul will go fight like a fighter. But I think this is...
Garcia is right. In boxing, careers can end with a single punch. A low-risk, high-reward fight like this, one that won't even touch Tank's record, makes sense.
I think that it's fair to call them boxers now. We talk about Logan brothers.
I think it's okay to call Jake Paul a boxer. The only reason why I say that is because he do be in the gym. He's working on stuff. The fight that he fought Mike Tyson, I don't think he should have fought Mike Tyson because of who Mike Tyson is and the age. And he said that he didn't try to knock him out. Yes, you did. You just couldn't get the knockout. Like, he tried to knock him out.
For Davis, it's about exposure to Jake Paul's massive crossover audience. For Jake, it's a chance to test himself against a real elite fighter. But Davis's longtime coach Calvin Ford isn't focused on the money. Like Tyson, he's worried about safety. Ford told Fight Hype, Jake and Tank been going at it for years. I gotta worry about Tank's safety.
It is, you know, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s. So he losing 4 ounces. So my thing.
People don't understand this fight the way we do. Ford even gave Jake Paul some credit. One thing I'll say about Jake, he's good at what he does. He's been consistent. That's why he's here. Still, Ford admits the fight is risky, especially with so many details unclear. Those details: weight, gloves, rules.
Versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna do.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
he's just too small.
It's just I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
It's gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta Tank Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about.
Could decide everything. If the fight is at cruiserweight, Tank is way out of his comfort zone. If it's closer to 160, Jake will have to cut down, which could sap his strength. For now, the only certainty is that both men are training like it's personal. That's why Tyson's advice matters. He's seen Jake's rhythm, his stance, the way he tries to control distance. Tyson has always been about closing the gap.
There's Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get it.
This match, and I believe that Jake Paul will knock Tank Davis out, maybe in the third, maybe in the fourth round. Tank will try to move, he will try to stick and move. It's not gonna work out for him, and he will eventually.
Honest, Jake Paul has a lot of followings, a lot of guys that are gonna come and watch, and that gives the opportunity for other fighters to be seen on those cards, you know. So a lot of people don't agree, but at the end of the day, for me, it's entertainment. And if we can take boxing to the next level and give other fighters opportunities to be displayed and for other people, YouTubers and all that, to be seen, and hopefully all the YouTubers and people that
exploding inside before bigger opponents can settle. He believes that's the blueprint for Tank. Slip Jake's jab, attack the body, and never let him fight tall. Paper advantages don't win fights, styles do. And Tank's speed, precision, and counterpunching could erase the weight gap if he stays in close range.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being
Davis or Jake Paul. So immediately, yeah, the normal layman would say, oh, Tank Davis is better. But better at what? Is he better at selling tickets? Is he better at selling stadiums out? Is he better at creating controversy? Is he better at getting followed on Instagram? Is he better at putting more eyeballs on the boxing? Is he better than him at that? The answer would be no. But is he better at him in a fight?
But when it comes to people that pick and lose fights, I can't get my head around it. If Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that, but when he gets hit for real, 10-ounce, well, I'm told it's 16-ounce gloves now, it's like an exhibition.
Right. Would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him.
Did you ever do a fight like that?
I feel as though in my career, I can't do that right now. I'm not a Floyd Mayweather. I ain't no Manny Pacquiao or no...
On Instagram, you called it a circus.
Yeah, this boxing is slowly turning into the WWE. That's what I think.
Does Tank Davis have a chance?
Yes, but
yeah,
I don't even want to talk about it. Don't ask me questions.
Comes back and says, anybody that puts his hands on a woman is a scumbag, and that's you. Tank responds. In the world of responses, it was as bad as it gets. In defense of himself, makes a comparison to P. Diddy. Jake literally just...
Still, Jake Paul isn't the same YouTuber who started boxing in 2020. He's stronger, more disciplined, and more experienced now. But Tyson and other pros agree. Tank Davis is different. He's a generational puncher, fast enough to end the fight with one clean counter. If that lands, size won't matter. The fight has fans split. Is it a circus or a dangerous upset waiting to happen?